All right, how's everybody doing? Welcome back to You Don't Know Ball, episode 49. We're so thankful to have you guys back. Excited because today we got a great, fun episode for you guys. Me and Hunter have been waiting on this one, man. We've been saving it for right before the season starts. We've been cooking up for a while on these. And Hunter, you want to tell them what we're doing today?
Yeah, so this is something that I got from the Athletic Fantasy Football Show. They do this thing every year called the Hot Take Purge. So it's basically just like letting all your hot takes out before the season in kind of like a manner where it's like you're not taking it for real serious, but it's something that, like, I don't know, you've had like a fever dream about or something like that.
Something you're cooking on.
Yeah, something you're cooking on where you're like, okay, maybe this could work, but I don't know if I want to say it to anybody because I'm going to sound stupid. But I'm excited to do it. We got some good ones. Some are hotter than others. So we can get right into it. Dobbs, you want to start with one of yours, or should I go with one of mine?
Well, I'll start off with one of mine.
Okay,
Just I know you're excited to talk about this one too. I
Go
feel
ahead.
like. Look, let's get right into it. My first one right here is Anthony Richardson is going to lead all the rookie quarterbacks in total touchdowns. Okay. And for me, I'll explain it pretty simply. Okay. I would say for all the rookie quarterbacks right now that are actually going to start from day one, none of their O-line situations are particularly nice. You know, like there's a lot of holes. No matter what, you got at least two holes in each of them, right?
Yeah.
So that's how I see it. My thing is, though, at least with A-Rich, you're getting the guy, like we said, who's going to have the head coach who matches perfectly at his play style.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like we have a good group of possession receivers, young possession receivers, big receivers, kind of just, the ball doesn't have to be perfectly accurate. Toss it up, give them a chance. They're going to catch a few for you, especially in the end zone. Moreover, with his rushing ability, we know he's definitely going to get a lot of rushing opportunities. Rushing touchdowns just translate really well. And especially, this isn't even fantasy related, but if you have in fantasy, you lucked out because I don't care about even how the stats are going to look. He's going to get you a lot of points in fantasy this year. He's going to get a lot of rushing touchdowns. He's going to have a fair amount of passing touchdowns. I don't even want to give you a number because I really don't know. I don't know what to expect at all. It could be atrocious, like not atrocious, but it could be a much lower than expected, like somewhere around like maybe 8-9 range. But I can also see it getting somewhere upwards of like 18, 19. And then you mix in those rushing touchdowns. I think it's going to be higher than any other QB. It's going to be passing mainly. Yeah. We're not going to be getting read, many read opportunities or anything like that. Maybe a few in the red zone. But the way I see it is A-Rich is just going to out-total these dudes in terms of volume because he really is the guy on that offense already. You have a lot, you have just more volume of him touching the ball.
Yeah, in total touchdowns, I could definitely see it because the more I like Bryce Young, I like CJ Stroud. I actually think I don't think he'll have I think A-Rich can have the most total touchdowns out of the rookie QBs, but I honestly think Bryce Young might be the odd man out this year, not because of his talent, but just because it's you got to look what he has around him. I wasn't feeling too great about the Panthers O-line in the preseason. I know it's the preseason, but it's your wide receiver one is Adam Thielen. In Houston, CJ Stroud, I like D'Amico Ryans a lot more than I like Frank Reich, even though Frank Reich has been a head coach. I haven't really seen him do it. I know he's had a quarterback carousel and everything like that. But what I will say is CJ Stroud has John Mechie, Nico Collins, Robert Woods, whether you like him or not, he's a reliable pass catcher. And then you also have Tank Dell. And Dalton Schultz. And their O-line, I love their O-line. So they got Dameon Pierce. Their offense is set up enough where it's he's not going to be struggling to play quarterback. So I actually think with the skill set that Anthony Richardson has, definitely possible that he leads rookie QBs in total touchdowns because I could definitely see them using him in a Cam Newton sense when he was on the Patriots, in the red zone where it's all options and run plays. So if he throws, say, over under 30 total touchdowns for Anthony Richardson this year,
I would take the under on it.
Under? Okay.
But
I think it's upper 20s.
I say if you take the over and that hits, that's good money for sure.
I mean, I just think he's going to be such a weapon rushing. And also, I just think I don't know, I just see him being really effective in the red zone. I don't know why. I think if they can get down there, I think he's going to be scoring a majority of the time, whether it's passing or rushing. I don't see the running backs playing much of a role.
I really do think he's going to have a much more effective rookie year than a lot of people are thinking.
Yeah. I just think, I am interested to see if Shane Steichen can develop him like they did with Hurts. You got to look at the deep ball. Josh Downs, Alec Pierce, and Michael Pittman, those are all solid receivers to be playing with. And their O-line should play much better this year. So I could definitely see Anthony Richardson leading the rookie QBs in total touchdowns.
I got a real hot take for you too.
Okay.
Side take. You just gave me this one on the
Okay.
side. Like, I swear I was just saying this yesterday. And this is one where, let me be very clear. I'm not saying that this is likely to happen. I'm not saying that I expect this to happen. However, you want a little fever dream. Okay, I'll give you one. If A. Rich can really develop a good connection and accuracy with Josh Downs this year, right, early on, he could be the same type of receiver to that offense, like how Terry McLaurin popped on the scene where you're just like, whoa, where'd this guy come from? He's putting up like 80 yards plus a week. And out of nowhere, because I'm just saying, like you said, with that deep seam, whatever, they dove up connection on that. That's something they could be hitting very consistently.
Yeah,
Josh Downs is the guy to run that. So
I'm not gonna like sit here and act like I didn't watch a ton of Josh Downs tape. Is he like more of like just a vertical guy?
Yeah, definitely much more of a vertical guy.
Okay,
you know, he's got a skill set, but he burns people for sure.
Okay, he's got burners. Okay, gotcha. Yeah, they have a nice little, because I mean, like you got Alec Pierce, who's like a possession receiver, Michael Pittman, who's like a big body guy, similar to, I won't say like skill wise, but similar to like a Mike Evans. And then if you have a burner, they have a nice little core. I like their tight ends too. So yeah, no, definitely. I figured what we can do is just like give our hot takes, kind of go over them, and then like go over to the next one, just because it's like their takes, like their hot takes. Like these are just like gut feelings and shit.
No,
like,
exactly.
So, all right, man. 31 other NFL teams are going to hate this.
I'm a Saints fan and I love it. So I'll be,
the Detroit Lions will be in the NFC Championship this year. Now, here's the thing. I don't think the Lions are better than the Eagles. I don't think they're better than the 49ers. But to me, they're one of those teams that if they get hot at the right time, they're real scrappy. I think people are really, I don't know how to say it. Like, I really think Jahmyr Gibbs is going to be like a really big weapon for them. And like, I really like their safeties. I like their corners. Their O-line is ferocious. They have great weapons. And if they make a move at receiver, Mike Evans, possibly, it won't happen, but Mike Evans, like their offense is loaded. It's loaded. And Ben Johnson has shown that he can play, or he can use Jared Goff effectively in this offense. So my thing is, let's say Detroit wins the division. Okay. Let's say they're the 3 seed. The NFC is weak. All they got to do is win. They got to win the wild card and then a divisional, whoever they play. And they're in the conference championship. Now, I don't know what 4 teams would be in that divisional. I'm assuming it would be the Niners, Eagles, Lions, and then I don't know. That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't know. Like, what's the chance that they get the team, not the Eagles or the 49ers? It's possible.
It's completely possible.
Like, what if they get the Seahawks? What if the Seahawks go to the divisional?
I mean, I can even give you more options too, but like,
yeah, go ahead. Let me.
What's like if they get, let's say they get the Falcons, or someone, if they made it that far, or I'm trying to think of another team that has a potential where they could be skipping around. Like we said, the NFC, or like, let's say they get, this sounds so messed up, but
the Bears or the Packers.
I was gonna say, what if they get the Cowboys or something? I mean, that'd be just a great matchup. That's the thing is, like we say, it's tough, but it's a hot take and it could happen.
Those 3 teams, they're losing. The 49ers, the Eagles, or the Cowboys, they're losing. But in the off chance that they don't get one of those teams in the divisional, which they really should. I don't know how the playoffs are going to shake out in terms of seeding, but like they're a team that I just get hot and they're fucking feisty in the playoffs. So I don't know, man. I just like, obviously, we need to see them win a playoff game. They didn't make the playoffs last year.
I see their defense make a jump too. That defense makes a jump. Yeah. I will be 100%. And I'm already on the Lions train, but it will be a full blown belief. Right now, it's about 90% belief, 10%. I don't even know what the right word is here. I don't even know how I'm trying to phrase what I'm saying. But I'm just not. I want to be all the way in, but now I need to see the defense. You got to see it. You know what I mean?
That's how I feel about the Browns. But why don't you go into your next take? Why don't you go talk about your Browns take at the bottom?
Yeah, I was gonna say, why don't I bring up the Browns next? All right, number 2 on the hot takes. I'm thinking because, and my take was just phrased as the Browns are just by far the biggest sleeper in the league. But I'll go as far as say it's kind of like similar to your. Also to make it like how yours Lions one was actually, because it's very similar. The Browns are that team that could completely make an AFC chip appearance, and it's like you don't hear anybody really talking about them or anything. I mean, all right, jokes aside. and I've done this before, but it's like, you could do this yourself at home. I mean, go pull up the Browns depth chart. Dude, the Browns are very like consistently loaded. Like the only really, I mean, when you go across the board, it's like if the one of the worst things that you're banking on is Deshaun Watson on his offseason bouncing back and then Denzel Ward having an offseason bouncing back, I'd say it's a pretty good worst case scenario.
Yeah.
Because that sounds like there's a pretty good chance that we've seen them at their peak talent, and then there's a good chance that they could return to that. So, and it's like also with the whole D line thing. I don't know if you saw that other day, but all the Browns players were trying to like tagging Chris Jones, trying to talk to Chris, like talking about.
Oh,
Chris
I saw
Jones.
that. I saw that.
Like this, is what I was saying is, so let's say they add Chris Jones and they just fix the
bro,
only
it's
part of
disgusting.
the D line that's a little bit weak. And like I said, I have a buddy who's a Browns fan. I told him straight up, I was like, look, bro, shouts to Bucks. It was my homie Bucks. I literally said, look, bro, if y'all get him and you don't win the Super Bowl,
Yeah.
or at least make the Super Bowl, it's a disappointing season.
There's a problem.
Because that's how loaded the team would be at that point. And that's my point of what I'm trying to say here. Is like this team, especially with how much they paid Deshaun Watson, the expectations are high now. Like if the Browns have ever had a time where the strike with iron could, the strike with iron's hot thing, I would say it's right now. And I know the AFC's loaded. I know it's the hardest time to do it. Whatever, but it does not matter because now's the time if you're the Browns, I guess is the best way I'm trying to say it.
Yeah, so last year they were overall graded at the 10th best offense, and they're 3rd in run and 17th in pass. So it's like, well, the run game should be better. It will not better if it stays the same or in the top 5, and the pass game goes to top 10, top 8 even. Their trenches are so good. And it's just like, I mean, just the D line got so much better, bro. So much better. Zadarius Smith on the opposite side of Myles Garrett. Like, I don't know, man. I really like the Browns. It's really going to come down to like that chemistry they can build with all these new guys and the AFC being stacked. But it's like we talked about the AFC North. Like, every team has a shot to go to the playoffs. Every team. Like, there's not a bad team in that division. Like, and I would say there's not even good teams. Like, they're all, like, pretty good.
No, yeah.
So it's like, it's frustrating because one of these teams won't. But the Browns, it's really between the Browns or the Steelers. Because in my opinion, if Lamar stays healthy, there's no way the Ravens don't go. And the Bengals, as long as Burrow's healthy, there's no way they don't go. So I don't know, man. I love the Browns, what they're doing. I think that offense, if they can put it together, like getting Elijah Moore opposite of Amari Cooper. They had Elijah Moore coming out the backfield. Like, I'm excited. There's so many teams, not just the Browns, that I'm just excited to watch this year, especially the Lions with Jahmyr Gibbs.
No, I was going to say, and I say this a lot, but this time, I mean, I just mean it more and more. I don't say just to say it. I think it's just because the NFL keeps getting more exciting. Shit, these owners are really in it to win it. Like this offseason, the hype of the teams that already were competitive and now teams got more competitive. I'm like, I don't know if I've been more excited to see how a season unfolds.
Yeah.
Because the parity is so crazy.
The parity is crazy. And talking about number 1 seeds in the AFC, the Jacksonville Jaguars are the number 1 seed in the AFC by the end of the year. Now, here's my thing. Very unlikely this happens, but that offense was electric. I think they upgraded the running back room. Getting Calvin Ridley, awesome. I think Trevor Lawrence can have an MVP-like jump this year. If the defense can improve, I don't see why they don't have a shot. I don't think it's going to happen, but I don't see why they wouldn't have a shot to at least be the 1 seed. I mean, they're probably playing in the weakest division in the AFC. Like, let's say they pick up those 6 games. You got to win 7 more. You got to find 7 more elsewhere. I don't know, man. I think year 2 under Doug Peterson with a star quarterback and a solid number 1 receiver could do a lot for this team.
No, so there's a lot of things I want to say in the Jaguars. Like, number 1, like you're saying, if they're going to make this push, it's going to hinge on definitely, first of all, getting all the division W's, and the offense is going to have to carry the load for sure. Not that I don't think a defense can make a big jump.
They play the AFC North too.
That is tough. But, hey, I feel like we'll break down why it's possible though, right? Because look, So Trayvon Walker, as we know, he was predominantly playing the edge last year. I think they were, they were looking at the tape, looking at the production. They're like, hold on a minute. Let me throw you back where you were also really productive in college too. You put a lot of good, snaps on tape.
Yeah.
Playing him back at the interior because we know we can do a lot of freaky stuff with you on the interior, right? Not like it's like you can throw him in a spy, you throw him into coverage over the middle, freak everyone out. Right? He's a versatile guy, and that's why we
Yeah.
drafted him. You don't use him as such. We give him a little bit more versatility, throw him over the middle. And he rushed really well over the middle to begin with. So I think putting him back there where he's more comfortable, I think is going to help out a lot.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna see how that. We're gonna see. I mean, it's either gonna work or it's not. But I think that's gonna be the first key that's gonna help this defense out a lot. And then, like I said, Tyson Campbell's gonna make another big jump this year. People are sleeping. Tyson Campbell's gonna be one of the best corners in the league. I'm standing on it. If you don't know the name, you better learn it. And then, Andre Cisco makes another jump. There's, again, Devin Lloyd needs to make a huge jump. A lot of things got to happen for this defense to go all the way to the 1 seed, I would say, and be able to drive him to that point. But it certainly isn't impossible.
It's not. I think it really hinges on like how much you believe in T-Law. If you think T-Law is going to out battle every quarterback every week, but to me, he's one of those guys that can go toe to toe with like a Burrow and a Mahomes and an Allen. So it doesn't like scare me about him. It's more about like if the defense can hold up. But yeah, no, there's really not much to say beyond like I think they got a lot better on offense this offseason. Defense really didn't move the needle, but they were playing like pretty well at the end of the last year. So hopefully they can keep that back up. But you want to move into your next take?
Yeah, let's get it here, bro. For the next one, I don't know if this is even necessarily that hot of a take, but it might be one of the more lukewarm ones, but it's a good one to talk about nonetheless. I'm saying Garrett Wilson will be top 3 in receiving touchdowns next year. Because, and again, I know he had 4 last year, underwhelming, but he was I would say even overwhelming, but he was what we expected in terms of what we know he is going to be as a receiver, right? He's a very talented guy, great catch radius. He's got a lot of tools in his box, right? So you pair him with somebody who is going to just come and completely change the offense in Aaron Rodgers. And we know how Aaron Rodgers manipulates things, gets the window open for you a little bit longer, and the chemistry is just going to be so much different with a guy like A-Rod. I see it as, and how much more productive the offense is going to be. If you put up 4 touchdowns with that, I don't know that word, just boo-boo offense last year. Like, with the volume you're going to be getting in the red zone now, and with the competent quarterback that's going to be throwing you the ball in the end zone now, it's like, I see no way he doesn't put up at least, and he's going to be number 1 with him, and we know what A-Rod's number 1s do. It's like, I can see him going for at least 12, 13 this year.
Yeah.
Like, realistically, the way that Jets offense is going to be able to move the ball.
It's possible. I mean, like, if you look at what Christian Watson was able to do last year, where he had that span of, what was it? 1, 2, 3, 4 games where he had 7 touchdowns total. And it's just like, I don't see why Wilson couldn't do that. I think Wilson's obviously like a little bit more polished of a player. So and with Aaron Rodgers, I think it's definitely doable. And I mean, who else do you think will be in that top 3?
That's where it gets tough.
Yeah, it's just like
I say Jettis will for sure be there.
Jettis will probably be there.
Right, Jettis will be there. And then, it gets tough. I don't know, bro. I really don't. It's like, part of me wants to say Stephon Diggs will just like have like a complete like touchdown rejuvenation and like go for a bunch.
Yeah.
But I don't know, because it's like, I want that Bills offense to bounce back. I don't know. Maybe Stephon, maybe Tyreek.
Yeah, I think that's definitely possible. I mean, so kind of going off that, I'll kind of jump into my take. I have Aaron Rodgers possibly winning the MVP again. And because here's my thing. If the Jets make a deep playoff run, please tell me a more valuable player to any team in the NFL besides Patrick Mahomes. That team didn't even make the playoffs last year with the quarterback situations that they had. So if they make a deep playoff run in the deep AFC, and there's no way Aaron Rodgers doesn't win MVP, in my opinion. Like, don't get me wrong, they have a lot of talent, but like, who's bringing, and I know MVP is technically a regular season award, but please tell me, like, who's more deserving? Like, unless like Justin Fields brings the Bears to like 12 wins. Which won't happen, but
that would be crazy.
It won't happen, but like, I don't know, man. Like, this was kind of like all in for the Jets, and it kind of felt like if they don't do it this year or next year, it's kind of like it was kind of a fuck up.
No, but that's why that leads me to what I want to say about this, because my basically only thoughts on this is, well, number one, like I said before we started recording, I completely agree with this one. I literally was saying the same thing to a
Yeah.
couple of my friends the other day. I was like, dude, if you want my prediction of who I think MVP is going to be, I would say A-Rod, because and my reasoning is like what you're saying is more than anything, it comes down to narratives when you're picking
Right.
MVP, right? When we know the narrative around the fucking Jets right now, it's
Yeah.
the Big Apple, and A-Rod came and we're on Hard Knocks, and
Yeah.
it's all this media coverage around them. And I'm not hating, let me be clear, but you get my point, is that there's a lot of coverage around them. A-Rod is the guy that's going to come save this franchise.
Yeah.
The Jets desperately need these wins in the playoffs. They need an appearance. All this, right? Is he going to be the guy to come do it?
Yeah.
I guess that's kind of like what we're looking at. And if he's the guy that comes and does it, he's the guy that comes, wins them the game, and he brings the franchise from the depths again.
Yeah.
It's like we're probably looking at the MVP strictly off of the narrative of the year and the pay cut he took, and right. They traded a lot for him.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, unless Mahomes goes and throws for 5,000 plus again and like 40 plus touchdowns, which we totally could too.
But I would say Mahomes
That's what makes it tough.
Obviously, like, has more help this year, in my opinion.
It's like, that's the thing is, I feel like Mahomes is still heavily at a disadvantage of like all the other great quarterbacks in the league.
I agree.
But he also is at the disadvantage of, as we know, sports, like a lot of times sporting organizations don't necessarily love to keep giving the MVP away to the same person because, again, the narratives and how much, it's at the end of the day, they say it's all about doing the right thing with the award, but part of it comes down to doing things that are going to get in narrative and attention and yada, yada, yada.
Like DeMar Hamlin, lock it in for comeback player of the year. Like, no bullshit. It's just like, I mean, no storyline is beating that.
Someone the other day literally said to me, I don't remember who they said, but they said another name. They're like, they're a lock for comeback player of the year. And I'm like, yeah, you got to think about that one for a second.
Yeah,
because
him or Russ.
you're wrong.
If Russ balls out.
I guess that's true, but like either way.
Yeah.
I feel like.
Yeah, man. A-Rod MVP this year.
All right, bro. For my next take, this one we're getting a little spicy here, bro. I'm throwing some spice back in the power stirring up right here.
Okay.
I'm thinking Micah Parsons I'm not saying he's going to break it, but he's certainly going to make a run at that sack record this year. So to be, we're going, I think can he push like 23? I don't know. That's where it gets rough. But can he be somewhere around 21, 22, 20? That's why I can see him pushing to like the number 20. Seriously. My thing is, okay, when we pull up Micah Parsons, his numbers in his career, and you look, okay, literally, right? Micah Parsons has played 1,819 total defensive snaps in his career. And not half exactly, but so for reference, he's only rushed the passer 795 times in his career, right? He's played run defense 676 times, and he's played coverage 348 times. Okay. So he has literally, for a certainty, rushed the passer less than half of the career snaps that he's played. And he still has, well, I should have this one pulled up on the side, but he's had I know for a fact he's had over 20 sacks in his career.
Oh,
so
he's got 28. He's got 14 a year.
Okay, so 14 a year. So the point is, yeah, right. He's incredibly productive, and he literally rushes the passer less than half the time.
Yeah.
Now we know he's playing D-line full time. Yes, he's still going to be playing run defense a fair amount of time. But when he's going to get more pass rushing opportunities, he's not going to be playing coverage anymore. It's pure pass rush. And if I'm not mistaken, he put on a good like 10, 15 pounds this offseason. I know he's been putting on a lot of weight. Scary. And he's already, as I argue, he's already the best pass rusher in the league. They actually was my number one this offseason, and a lot of people are hating on that. And my reasoning was what it is now. He doesn't pass rush as much as these other guys. He is consistently double teamed. Micah Parsons is an absolute animal. That's the only thing I didn't even have to go any further on this. Really, Micah Parsons is in a perfect situation. He has a lot of other talent on the D-line. You can't consistently double Micah in every situation because other guys in the D-line will break free. You have to game plan around that whole D-line. It gets him free every once in a while. And Dan Quinn's a masterclass, dude. Like that's really what it comes down to, is he's going to be in a situation to do it.
Yeah.
The question is, can he?
So also, I just want to verify before people come for you. So, Sleeper has him at 13 sacks in 21 and 13 and a half in 22. I don't know if you know, but PFF, and I probably should have said this, they grade sacks different. They don't do half sacks.
That's right.
So it's like, if you get to the quarterback, they count it as a sack. So that's where the number difference is coming from. So 13, 14, it's still a lot of sacks for not rushing the passer all that often. Here's the thing, bro. So I think the Cowboys are going to ball out this year. Michael Parsons, like what he's done in just like 2 years in the league is so crazy. We were talking about it, bro. Like if he stays healthy, like that's a Hall of Famer, man. So I just don't see why he can't contend for that sack record. If like, let's say they put him on the fucking pass rush all the time. Like, why can't he get 23? Why can't he? Like, there's nothing telling me that he can't do it.
That's what I'm saying.
Man. Okay. You have anything more to say on Micah?
No, I think we left it with the mic drop too. It was nice and concise.
Yeah.
Mike is he's got a damn good chance, man.
So let's let's go back to the view well. I was telling Dobbs we're gonna do this real quick just because Dylan brought it up when we asked him. Yeah, so I earlier said what if the Seahawks win the NFC West? What if they win the NFC West? And apparently the
That's a
script
crime.
was already released. And I was told that there's no chance this ever happens. But Dobbs made a very good point earlier. If we would have said that Geno Smith was going to ball out last year, people would have been calling us horrible names.
Dude, horrible names we can't say on the show.
Horrible names. So it's just like, I think this is a hot take, but I don't think it's like scalding hot. Like it's
realistic.
It can happen. So no one thought Nick Foles was going to win a Super Bowl. I just think they improved all around. If they can stay healthy, if Geno Smith can play at the same level they played last year, the NFC is super fucking weak. The NFC West is super weak besides the 49ers. It's really like those two. So I just don't understand why the opportunity of them winning the West is so crazy. Like I said, they improved everywhere. JSN, it looks like he's coming to his own. He has a wrist surgery. He'll be out the first 3 weeks, I think it is. But I don't know, man. I feel like here's my thing with the Seahawks this year. I feel like they're either going to take that next step, and a lot of people are going to be surprised because I think a lot of people are thinking they're going to be what they were last year. Either they're going to take that step forward, or I think they're just going to kind of collapse a little.
I'm with you 100%. I'm with you 100%. And my thing is too, but here's really something I want to bring up because, something started developing, and kind of ties to another point. Well, we know what happened with Nick Bosa right now, right? Okay. Hey, let's say Nick Bosa, they can't come to an agreement. Something goes wrong there. Oh, I'm sitting out or trade me. I don't think it's going to go that way, but we know it potentially could. I know I just read something earlier that he might not play week 1. I think it's coming down to him getting the money and where he's going to get it eventually. It just might not be by week 1, but regardless, not the best situation. So let's say they don't have him week 1, right? That's not good if you lose week 1. Oh, also, my thing that I start getting confused about where Niners fans are coming for us, and I think Niners fans, let's be realistic for a sec. You guys would agree with me on this, objective only. It's kind of like, I'm calling me crazy, but, and I'm not blaming Shanahan for this, but Shanahan's tenure of the Niners, it kind of goes like really good year, and then injury riddled year, and then maybe another injury riddled year. Like it's kind of like dominoes with the injuries. And it's like, we know, like we say, they have a very injury riddled potential superstar cast. It's kind of a jumbled sentence, but you get what I'm saying.
I know what you're saying.
And that's just what it comes down to. The Seahawks are not as volatile as the Niners.
No. I mean, I think the Seahawks I think
turned into like a New Jersey native.
I know. I think the Seahawks have their own injury issues, but it's not as bad as the 49ers. And so the 49ers actually have the 4th easiest schedule this year. The Seahawks have the 8th. So it's like they're both pretty high up there. Like I don't see why, if Geno takes another step or even plays just a little bit better, like their receiving core is upgraded, their running back room is upgraded, their D line is upgraded, their second year of their young corners, like Jamal Adams is coming back. Like
they have a good D line too. Like if Boye Mafe makes a big jump this year, like there's a lot of like, and like we love Tariq Woolen. There's so many like big positives.
Devon Witherspoon. I feel like no one's been talking about him,
dude,
at all.
I think the Seahawks are one of those teams where, like you said, bro, they're in that territory of like a lot of people are looking at them like a pipe dream, and now they have to fucking step up to the plate and prove whether it's real or a dream.
They have Kobe Bryant too, Quandre Diggs, Bobby Wagner's back.
Dude, everyone hated when I say he's still the best linebacker in the league. Standing on it, don't care. He had a bounce back year last year. If you didn't realize, you didn't realize.
Yeah, it's just like, I don't want to keep going over this, but there's very realistic opportunities for the Seahawks to take this division. Dobbs, you want to move into your next one? I only got one more after this.
All right, let's take over, bro. All right, so another one, I think a lot of people are just going to hate this one, but it's because a lot of people hate him and the franchise he's associated with. It's hilarious. We know, but they like it that way.
Okay, yeah.
Man, the Eagles fans. And Jalen Carter.
Yeah.
Jalen Carter is going to win Defensive Rookie of the Year. Simple, right?
Yeah.
And look, I think we've gotten to a point too where I feel like Jalen Carter has this innate, he has like that aura around him where a lot of like people just don't per se, I'm trying to think of the right word, but they have like a negative vibe about him because of a few things that happened before the draft and whatever.
Yeah.
Right? There's kind of like this. People have like vibes cast over them from the casual base, and I think it's kind of like a lot of people don't like Jalen Carter right now. Me still. Hey, look. Let me be clear. I don't know what happened with that stuff. I'm not going to judge anybody based off something I don't fully understand. What I do understand is Jalen Carter on the football field, dominant player. Jalen Carter, potential, Hall of Fame potential. And what's crazy is we already know what I also know. Everyone knows the Eagles D-line is stacked, right?
Yeah.
Reality situation is he steps in, gets a good rotation, not just getting like third down rotation. If he can start stepping in on second down, first down as well, get a lot of reps, be able to get in there on play action downs, get a few more sacks. I don't see any way Jalen Carter can win Defensive Rookie of the Year. It just comes down to how many reps that he's going to get this year with that talented D-line.
Oh, I agree. I think, I don't know, like when the Bears had the opportunity to take him and didn't, I was like kind of upset. I knew why, but it's just frustrating because like, to me, Jalen Carter was never like oh, this guy is going to work out on the football field. It was more like the off the field shit. And I think he went to the perfect situation, but Jalen Carter is just, if you watch his tape, he's just like so different. Like, I still think he was definitely the best like defensive player in the draft over. I mean, I think Will Anderson is great too, but
dude, I'm certain. I'll stop saying I'm certain if he just gets rotation, he stays healthy.
Yeah. So I am very interested to see like where the season goes, but also another thing with the Defensive Rookie of the Year where I could always see the problem is I think they're going to like cycle the line quite a bit. So
that's where the problem comes in.
Yeah,
with.
yeah.
It's just,
so it's like it might be hard for him to get those like DROY like snaps. You know what I'm saying?
No, that's literally all it comes down to, bro. If he can establish the first down, second down rotational, then like being in there on those snaps, it's gonna work. But if not, he's only in there on third, and the goal line stuff. Because the thing is, as talented as he is, that it's gonna be so hard to crack good rotation this year. It's a good problem to have.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
It more than anything, it's gonna be just getting him experience, getting him accustomed to the way they play. But it still could happen if he just gets those reps.
Oh, 100%.
Or someone gets injured. And I don't want that to happen. But we know there's potential for anything to happen, and we just speak the possibilities.
This isn't like a hot take, but I could see Will Anderson winning it. I think he's going to be a little bit better than people think he's going to be. Like a lot of people, the argument was like, okay, yeah, he was like the first defender taken, but I don't think a lot of people was like, is he like a top like blue chip type guy?
Yeah, I don't really know where all that was coming from. Again, my only concern, and I feel like I don't know how you feel about this, but and we'll move on after this one. But in the preseason with Will, I feel like the only thing that concerns me a little bit, and again, it wasn't happening like very often or anything, but again, sometime in run fits, he would get stood up a little bit where you're like, all right, that's going to be the one thing he is going to really have to work on. And we knew this coming out because he's a little undersized, right? With height and weight. He's going to put on a little bit of weight over the years. He's going to get a little more muscle on him. He's going to figure it out. I have no doubt. Will Anderson's a very talented player, very talented prospect. He was a blue chip prospect. I don't know how people are saying he wasn't. That whole debate was just crazy.
Yeah. Yeah.
Will Anderson's the guy. I'm sorry.
Will Anderson Jr.
But he's not the guy over Jalen.
They did trade
That's
up
the problem. He's not the guy over Jalen.
They did trade up a lot to get him.
Oh, they really did.
And I'm not even going to go into it. Oh, but they traded with the Cardinals, right?
Yeah, no, the Cards.
You want to go into your Cardinal hot take? Just might as well make it an easy transition.
Oh, dude. Well, we might as well. And I feel like, again, this is the most simmering take I have. And I feel like a lot of people would be on board with this one. But yeah, I just threw it in here more than anything because it has to be established because it's kind of just
especially
the narrative.
After that video, man. That was one of the worst videos I have ever seen.
The video is so bad. I actually feel comfortable fixing putting the hair underneath the headphones right now because Jonathan Gannon actually embarrassed himself so much more. No, all right, jokes aside, dude. Listen. Because this is what I have to say about this. And it's not just the video. I promise you it's not. The video just made me realize that it's the perfect time to say this take because I've been sitting on this one for a while. Honestly, since probably a week after he got hired. Because I was trying to put the pieces together of how the Cardinals are just throwing out together a bamboozle job to like throw everybody off after this season. And they're tricking everybody really hard that they're not. But we're going to get to that in a second, right? Well, the reality situation with Jonathan Gannon, dude. Okay. He just gives off those Brandon Staley vibes, right? Number one.
It's worse.
It probably is because, again, Brandon Staley, at least, defensive guy.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
well, Jonathan Gannon's right. Defensive guy.
Yeah, actually, but that's the thing. He doesn't give off that vibe. He just gives off like.
But see, like Jonathan or
I can't even say that because Jonathan Gannon.
Staley to me is like he's like the nerdy, analytical, like defensive guy. Like to me, Gannon doesn't strike me as that. So I'm like, what lane are you in, bro?
No, it's not. It's the thing is, and let me be clear. I'm sure he knows his ball, all that. But and I stand on it forever. it's not again. It comes down. It's not even just about him or anything. It's not the him. What we've seen from him and his personality is already kind of interesting, right? It's gotta. I think I'm gonna get into that in a second. I'm gonna side note that.
Okay.
But in terms of just what the team is dealing with, all the problems in that organization, the blatant lies being told to our face. Oh, we're gonna get Kyler back as soon as we can.
He's not.
We're
coming
gonna.
back.
All of this is. They got a great relationship with the coach, and they got a long-term plan. I'm not buying that at all. And
No.
actually, what's crazy is, let me be clear. If that actually is the plan, I'm not calling him stupid or anything. All I'm saying is he got a really good chance to go to Caleb Williams. Maybe just ride this one out. Keep just, you know what I mean? Just keep doing what you guys doing. All I'm saying is the transparency, it's BS. The Cardinals are definitely tanking. They're lying. Guess they kind of have to. Jonathan Gannon is just in a situation where no matter what, dude, unless he puts together a literally perfect game plan every single week and he's up till 4 a.m. every morning getting 2 hours of sleep, it's like destroying his mental health for the season.
Yeah.
I'm being funny, but it's like, bro, the chances of them actually putting together something where I feel like they're going to salvage it upon the fact that they want to bring in a new QB, a whole new, you know what I mean? It's kind of like a new system. It's like, it's just a very tough role to last in when you're already a young, kind of unestablished coach to begin with.
Yeah.
Because again, if the Eagles have a really good year this year, which I'm assuming they're gonna, I'm sure they're gonna look at it and be like, wait, hold on a minute. Like, you're the defense that got torched in the bowl. You were coaching.
You're
that,
saying if they have a bad year.
No, I'm saying if the Eagles have like a good year again this year,
the
and they
Eagles,
look at it, and then saying the
Eagles.
Cardinal staff's looking at it from their perspective, they're like, hold on, dude, you fucking just really frauded us out, bro.
Yeah.
Like, you just sold your team in the Super Bowl.
Well, they
came over,
also
stole our
traded a
money.
third to get him. Remember, because of the tampering stuff?
That's what I'm saying. It's just like there's so many things on the table right now where he's in a really tough situation. It's not even necessarily his fault. Actually, it's a great opportunity for him. He got the bag. Even if shit hits the fan, he still got the bag. Good for you, right? You know, good for Jonathan Gannon.
At first, when you brought this up, I was unsure, but the more I think about it, like, I get it. This guy's the perfect tank commander. He just, if you watch that video, I know they were making jokes about like the impractical Joker shit. Like, hey, Murr,
even if it looked like Murr though, dude, that shit would be gold,
bro. Like,
can we break it down in case nobody's seen it real quick?
It's just like,
what was your favorite part? I'll say my favorite part for this.
Bro, it was like hard to watch. Like, as a man, like, I don't know how I'd get ready for football to play for him. Like,
no, that shit was, bro, hard to watch is the right word. You know the part where he goes, this is the part, I swear to you, like literally, I'm borderline sick to my stomach watching it. He goes, the way he says it, the funniest part where he's like, who was ready to show up here? Who took the bus? Like, bro, like,
these are millionaires. Why are they taking the bus?
Like, that's the problem. It's like, I think he was insinuating from the way he said it, and I could be totally wrong. But while I'm crying on the inside watching is I'm like, are you insinuating that the guys who want to take the bus had more of the dog in them? Like, because I don't even understand where you're coming from. That's what makes it so funny. Like,
it's bad.
It was just like, and it's like he rehearsed that speech. But if you rehearse a speech like that and it's that terrible, I'm not even lying. You know I'm not. I promise you, if you march me out there right now to the Cardinals, all of them, I don't care that they have way higher credentials than me. All that, I don't care. I'm delivering a way harder speech than that.
Yeah.
I literally promise. Like, they actually would be at least smiling at the speech. They were literally sitting there deadpan like, yo, dude, this is going to be such a tough year. Because he's actually the guy getting paid millions of dollars to give the speech.
Yeah. The thing is, like, they're not bringing back Kyler this year. Like, and he's
That's
like
the biggest lie being told.
You don't think they are?
No, I'm saying like
that they are.
You've seen how this whole narrative now, like, no, dude, we're all in on him.
Yeah,
like,
they're not bringing him back. They just named him a captain too. But my thing is, like, Jonathan Gannon's the perfect, because like he's set up to fail. Like, oh, bro, you went 1-16, 0-17. Like, we can't bring you back. But perfect guy to like lose you all those games if he can't motivate a fucking group of individuals. So I'm not saying, I don't know what else goes on in the room, but it was just, bro, a brutal video. But again,
the boy, you know, he knows his ball. Jonathan Gannon knows his ball. There's no doubt about that. But again, in terms, like you said, it's leadership. It's the whole thing comes with the head coach.
Yeah.
It looks tough. And side note, like you were saying, I want to bring this up too. With Cardinals, with the whole thing with Kyler, again, they're lying about it. They didn't even, I didn't get in the cabin. All that, right? It's kind of just what's like it's like magic. Like, look over here, you know, like it's like distraction at the moment. Not only that, they got bullied into giving Kyler that contract. Like as a media, I feel like we have to acknowledge this, right? The Cardinals literally were bullied. Do you remember that?
Yeah,
the whole thing where they didn't want to give him the money. He was going to sit out. All this, and they folded so quickly. They gave him everything he wanted, made him one of the highest paid guys in the league, and he didn't prove anything besides that he can play like MVP for half the season. I wish he did it, and then that's what kind of was Kyler's MO the first. At like this year 2 and 3, right? It was like play like MVP the first 8 weeks, and then the second half of the year we're just gonna fall off the fucking train. Right?
Yeah,
the train's gonna fall off the rails and derail. So it's like they got bullied into giving that contract. What would be the reason that they wouldn't feel the necessary, like they just got into it and this new ownership group, it's like almost like we're going to bully this contract out the door, right? They're the ones who acquired this bullied contract. It's like, now we got to find a way to get out the door now.
No, I agree, bro. It's fucking embarrassing. Like, and like, the thing is, like, everyone knows they're tanking. Like, it's like really bad. So it's like, I don't know, man. Like, how do you like Clayton Tune or Josh Dobbs?
Well, if you're trying to tank, I say you go with Clayton Tune.
Why would you not? See, that's why I don't get why you trade for Josh Dobbs. Like, if you're trying to tank, just keep Colt McCoy. He's got nothing in the fucking tank.
See, I feel like they think he knows the offense well enough. At least, though.
Okay. So that was my initial thought too. I was like, they don't want a guy that knows how to run the offense.
He would at least make a few big plays to win them. Maybe 1 or 2 games that they didn't want to win. Where it's like, no, forget that.
All right, awesome. Do you want to? I'll do my last one, and then I'll do it here. So the Vikings are going to finish at the bottom of the NFC North, and here is my reasoning for this. I think the Packers, the Vikings, and the Bears are a lot more similar in terms of like their record than like where they'll finish. Yes, the Vikings were 13-4 last year, but at the end of the day, I just don't like. I don't get them. Like, Alexander Madison to me is kind of Their O-line is decent. D-line, cool. Here's my issue. Besides Harrison Smith and fucking we literally said his name and I forgot again. The cornerback.
Byron Murphy.
Byron Murphy. Besides him, that secondary is so green. Like they have no experience. They're super young. Their injury, I think, didn't Andrew Booth like tear his AC? Oh, wait, it was Scene or Booth had an injury last. It was Scene. It was Scene. And it's just like, bro, I don't know. And like, also, we were talking about this too. And I'm sorry if I sound ignorant, but if I remember right, Brian Flores runs a lot of man.
No, yes.
So it's like, I don't know if that's like the best for like super young corners. Here's the thing. Kirk Cousins, he'll get you the wins. Justin Jefferson, raw. Jordan Addison, raw. T-Hawk, raw. But it's like, man, I don't know. I just don't have a great feeling about the Vikings this year. And like, I'm trying not to be biased. I really am not. But it's like,
well, we're not. There's been plenty of years we sat here and said the Lions are about to suck. When the Lions are about to suck, and I'm not saying, again, they're not the same relation because it's not that the Vikings are about to suck. But, it's like we're sitting here saying the Lions are going to have a really good year. And in turn, the Vikings we just don't think are going to have as good of a year.
We're 13-4 with a negative point differential.
Makes no sense. Well, it does because it's football, but in any other sport, it makes no sense.
Like the Niners, Bills, Eagles, and Chiefs, Cowboys, Bengals, Jaguars, Ravens, Lions. Like those were the top teams with point differential, and those were the better teams in the league. The Giants and the Vikings. The Giants were 9-7 last year, and they were right next to the Vikings in point differential. So my thing is like they were a more accurate description of what the Vikings were. And like, if you look at the Packers, they had a negative point differential last year as well. Even though it was just 1 point difference, they went 8-9 with A-Rod. They're going into a rookie quarterback. Like the NFC North is, besides the Lions, in my opinion, wide open. I think the Lions got better. So it's just like the Vikings could easily finish at the bottom of the NFC North. Now they're definitely more talented than the Bears and Packers, I would say. But it's just like circumstances. I don't know.
No, I'm with you 100% on that one, bro. And again, like I was saying before we started, it's like like you were saying when you were saying your take. It's like it sounds like it's like Vikings hate, and like I was reading the comments. It's like this is Viking. Y'all are hating. Let me be clear, not at all. It's just a product of what we saw last year, 100%. Like we're saying, as a product of the negative point differential and still having 13 wins, and the volatility that comes with the NFL and Kirk getting older. You never know what age it's going to be with the QB where the wheels just fall off the fucking train. I don't know if Kirk's that guy. It's going to be at 36 or if it's going to be at 38 or if it's going to be at 40. But if it's at 35, 36, well, this is the year, right? That the wheels start to kind of like, at least we start to see the wheels start. What is the word? They're getting rust on them. I say like the wheels, they're looking, they're like, the wheels are getting a little rusty. We got to start looking at a replacement. So you get what I'm saying, right? Yeah. It's like that could be this year. And that's the biggest thing for me is when your QB situation is potentially not all the way right. It's just that's just a no, right? You're gonna have
Well,
a
it's just like
regression.
they need to. They're going to have to get a quarterback this year in the draft. There's no way around it. And at the end of the day, you damn near want to be worse this year because you're not going to win it this year.
No, literally. And I was going to say, like, the only way around it is if Kirk literally goes and takes them to the promised land. And even then, I'm sure it's like, from a GM perspective, you're like, well, this would be the perfect time to put a guy behind him that can start learning.
Yep.
Like, so no matter what, it's kind of like, yeah, this is the year, no matter what, you got to start looking at the future, right? Even if the best case scenario happened for Skull Nation, it's like, you got to start figuring out other options. And that's just the reality of the situation. All right, so for my final take, bro, I'm thinking I'm going to combine kind of 2 into 1 here, though, right? Because it's like, we kind of can. Well, Kyle Pitts, I'm going to say Kyle Pitts is going to go over 750 yards and 8 touchdowns this year.
Okay.
Big bounce back. That one's not as hot, right? Because we know he has the talent for it.
Yeah.
But this next one, maybe a little more spicy. George Pickens, I think George Pickens can have a huge breakout. He can go for 1,100 plus next year.
That is a big jump. I fuck with Pickens, but I can see it.
Like, so I'll say with the Kyle Pitts one, right?
Okay.
Well, again, he just has to be used as the decoy a little bit less on the offense. And we know in terms of
Arthur Smith hates him.
Yeah, say if Arthur Smith can like, it's literally to the point where he just has to have a fucking bro. He has to have that moment. He's gonna like. Here's what I need him to do. He seems to be out in the back, chilling, whatever music he enjoys, whatever, just sitting back enjoying the sun. And he's got to have this realization, like, wait a minute. What if like on one snap I took like Mac Hollins and instead I just used like my second string tight end where I was gonna use Kyle Pitts, and we just like throw him out wide and like throw a fucking streak with him or something. Like, doesn't that sound fucking crazy? Like, doesn't that sound really cool? Dude, I think that sounds pretty amazing. If I could sit on him and I could give him a few ideas, right? My first idea would be like, let's start stretching him vertically, like how the Saints used to use Jimmy Graham, or like how we see that Darren Waller is going to be used on the Giants this year. Like, why aren't we doing that? This guy's a humongous mismatch. Like, if you try to throw a 6-foot corner in front of him, it's never gonna work. Even a 6'2" guy, are they gonna guard him? Right? Like, what?
No.
So I'm just getting a little confused. I'm gonna keep getting confused and keep getting mad. If he doesn't have the bounce back he deserves, use him as a receiver, use him as a tight end. He's both. This whole like trying to one, like, I hate how that happens in the league. Where dudes clearly show they have such a versatile skill set in college and whatever. And these dudes try to make them into one thing. It's like, just because you're one thing and you don't get the option as the coach to do a bunch of things, don't try to just take his talent and fucking make it into one lane. It's really annoying. And we see it a lot. And I'll say as a Saints fan, I've had the privilege of where Sean Payton never really used to do. Thank God. He's not with us anymore, as we know. Hopefully Dennis Allen has the same approach. But yeah, give guys versatility options, dude. Like, you need to, because it makes it so much harder to game plan as a defense. Yep. And they deserve those opportunities. I'll stand on that.
Pickens, or Pitts, my bad. I mean, he already had 1,000 yards year one. It's really like the touchdowns is where he needs to pick it up. So it's definitely doable. I really like Pitts, and like I think that offense is gonna be fun. I wish they had an actual like quarterback. I know like people are like super in on Desmond Ridder. Hey man, I'd love to see him step it up. I'd love to see him like have a Tannehill type year, like when he got integrated with Arthur Smith. But I don't know, man. I think Kyle Pitts over 750 yards, easy. The 8 touchdowns is where you get me.
No, the 8 touchdowns. That's the thing is, I know he can do it. It's just a matter of like just start getting the man targeted and start lining him up a receiver, even just like inline slot, something cool. Give the man an option, right? And then with George Pickens, I'll make the George Pickens one quicker. But with George Pickens, it just comes down more to Kenny Pickett. Again, I think Steelers fans for some reason have this idea now that I'm like a Steelers hater, that I'm let me be clear, not at all. Mike Tomlin's that guy. Steelers are one of those franchises. However, like I said, there's just how I saw the schedule this year wasn't necessarily how you guys wanted it to be. But regardless of all that, Kenny Pickett, I do think is going to make a big jump this year. Like I said, I know he can. He just has to show me now. And if he makes that jump, what he showed me, his intangibles, and the way that I think he'll make a connection with the number one receiver, kind of like how he did at Pitt. He's kind of like I think he'll have that tendency where there's going to be the number one guy in a Kenny P offense, really number one guy, like how an Aaron Rodgers kind of thing, like a Drew kind of thing. You really have your number one right in certain situations. That's going to be George Pickens in this offense. And it's like if they have a productive offense and they move the ball a lot more, don't turn it over as much, there's no way George Pickens can't go for at least 1,000 plus. 1,100 might be a little pushing it because that's a huge jump from last year in a sophomore year, but he can certainly do it, and he has the talent for sure to do it.
Oh, I love George Pickens, and I think he definitely has the talent. I think Kenny P is going to take a step this year. I don't see any reason he can't go for 1,100. I honestly think like he'll overtake like Deontay Johnson as like the wide receiver one. I don't even know if
only a matter of time, right? Like,
and so 800 yards his rookie year. It's definitely doable to get another 300. Considering there was a couple games in there where he was getting like 60, 70% of the snaps. He wasn't on the field like 80% of the time. So definitely a chance to do that. I like both Pitts and Pickens, I think, because if you look at Deontay Johnson, he was on the field for like 80 to 90% of the snaps. So you get Pickens out there a little bit more. I don't see why he can't go for 1,100.
Right?
Steelers receiving core is low-key kind of stacked.
Low key.
But yeah, I mean, that's all we have for the hot takes. I was a little bit like more of a relaxed episode today just because end of the preseason, we're going to be getting into the NFL season here very shortly. This was recorded on Monday. Thursday, we have the first game, the Chiefs and the Lions. So I am excited. But yeah, thank you guys for listening. I appreciate it. We appreciate it.
Oh, yeah. We appreciate you guys always tuning in. Thanks so much. Y'all have a great rest of your day. If you enjoyed, drop a like, drop a sub, drop a follow. We appreciate. See y'all again soon.